Another bad loss by the Cubs.
You are Locked On Cubs, your daily Chicago Cubs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Cubs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Alongside Sam Olber, I'm Matt Cozy. Sam and I are lifelong fans, taking our passion into a discussion with you on all things Cubs. Thank you for being part of the show and making Locked On Cubs your first listen today. And the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day. Like the video and comment anything below. Today's episode is presented by eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your car alive with all the parts you need at the prices you want. It's easy to bring home that big win. Keep your car alive at ebaymotors.com. eBay guaranteed fit, only available to U.S. customers. Cubs lose to the Rays 5-2 on Tuesday night. Cubs now 32-35 on the season, back to a season high, 3 games under 500. Cubs entered the bottom of the ninth, leading 2-1, but Hector Neris blew the game, allowing 4 runs on 3 hits and a walk. As Sam, the Cubs with another bad loss to their 2024 resume.
Yeah, it's just been it continues to be, 32-35 doesn't even nearly describe how bad of a season it has been so far and how bad of a watch it's been. That game, even up 2-1, was not a fun watch. It never felt in hand. It never felt good. It is a team right now that really is bad offensively. They are bad defensively. They are bad on the bases, and they are bad in the bullpen. And when you add those up, that's what you get. I said about a week or two ago, you're not going to hear many rants for me right coming up. Not much screaming, because they don't deserve that type of energy. They're not good. And I've said I think at some point they'll probably get hot and turn it around. But you're almost, first of all, you see no signs to support that.
Yeah, I'm not sure of that.
And secondly, even if they do, they've wasted so much. It'll almost feel like a season of a fake rally. If they do win, let's say 14 out of 21, it's a fake rally in a season, because it's just ultimately it's just ridiculous. I mean, this game was another. How many times we said another great summary of what's just been such a painful season. Jameson Taillon came out through well. You had plenty of opportunities to add on. Talkman with PCA on third doesn't get the job done. 1 out. Suzuki, there was, of course, part of the season some bad batted ball luck in there. But overall, it wasn't good enough. Amaya kicks the ball away to make it 2-1. And we talked about this a few days ago. We haven't even gotten to the bullpen. It isn't the lead story lately because of how bad the offense is, and it continues to be. But this bullpen, your best guys are Wisniewski and Neris, who has been Neris has been flirting with that outing for a good long while, and it came actually on the heels of probably what his best outing was on Sunday. But he just didn't look comfortable. He kept exchanging balls and checking on guys at second base.
Yeah.
And he gives up the leadoff man's always the key guy there. He gives up the leadoff double, and you were just hoping to get to extras at that point with Bellinger and those guys coming up, and it didn't happen. I don't know what else to say, but I don't see signs right now at all of a good baseball team, and it's really a shame because we're approaching summer, we're approaching this homestand, and we're not approaching summer, we're in summer, and it is just a wildly rough watch right now at every facet.
All right. Well, I want to get to some of those bigger questions in a couple minutes. And I just want to recap some of the game first, just for my own misery. Neris allowed that leadoff double, as you mentioned. That went strikeout, walk, single for the Rays to tie it. Then with first and second, 1 out, he strikes a guy out. And then a 3-run homer to end it. I mean, you almost can't write a worse story. JD said on the broadcast, gut punch, and that's exactly what it was. And the Cubs have had double-digit gut punches, I would venture to say, this year. That shouldn't happen. Runners in scoring position today, 1 for 7 with 9 left on base, the big one for me was that top of the fifth, Sam. PCA infield single, advances to second on the same play because the Rays were asleep. And then he's eventually on third after the Amaya flyout and Talkman K's and Suzuki grounds out. That was more representative of the offense today. A shame that Tyone's outing gets washed away in that fashion. And, I did have this even on my win outline because I had to change it, 7 times during the game again, about Wisniewski is he really the third person in the bullpen circle of trust? It's just, how is your circle of trust lighter Wisniewski Neris? You almost anticipated the outcome just based on that alone. How many more times are Amaya or Gomes or someone like that going to hurt the Cubs? You had to do a half block on a dirt ball. You kick the ball away, a run scores. It's mistake after mistake that happens over and over again, and it's just the same crap each time out. And I didn't say crap on a phone call with you entering the 9th inning. So what I'm starting to wonder here, are the Cubs a bad team? And quite frankly, it's a fair conversation to have. You just laid it out 4 minutes ago. You went down every part of a team, followed by the same adjective, which was bad. Guess what? That means you're a bad team. At least right now, you're a bad team. And by the way, for everybody saying that, the Cubs got out of it last year, which includes me, I enjoyed the 33-14 run from July to September. But did they really get out of it? To your point, they missed the playoffs by a game.
Right.
So they really didn't get out of it. They ran out of gas in September. I think it's time to have this discussion about we might be watching a more bad than not 2024 Cubs team.
Yeah, it's really fairly put. The only guy that really had any outside of the solo homer, which is nice, but it's a solo homer. The only guy to really put consistent high level at bats together today was David Bodie off the bench. He's not supposed to even be on this team.
Right, wasn't even on the radar entering the year.
Wasn't even on the radar a month ago, 3 weeks ago. He wasn't even on the radar.
Yeah, he had a clutch hit today.
Ian Happ's batting average is down to 218. On the season.
Oh my gosh. You could read numbers. It's fine.
You went 0 for 10 with your leadoff and 2 hitters. Hard to win like that. And
wow.
Yeah.
And the core 6? What did the core 6 do? I mean, Bellinger got that hit in the corner, but
Bellinger had a couple hits.
Horner makes a cameo appearance.
Yeah, he'll start tomorrow. Maybe he'll juice him up. Sitting to whatever.
I think this might be a bad team, dude.
Yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I mean, I'm numb to these efforts, and it's June.
Of course,
it's June 11th. Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you.
It seems like whenever you have a milestone on the show, we can't even really celebrate it because they screw it up.
Well, the milestone last year actually began the turnaround July 18th.
What
got engaged?
No, but wasn't there one day where we had like a big subscriber thing and they got beat like 13-1 or something?
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I thought. I guess just because it's a show, to play devil's advocate, you just said it. Last year, the turnaround started July 18th. We're still a month until then.
And there was a spurt in late June, like around the London series, but then they slid back down. Then July 18th.
There was a pretty big spurt. They swept the Pirates. They took 2 out of 3 from the O's.
Yeah.
And then I think they might have swept the Pirates again on the road.
They swept them again. Yeah.
Yeah. So the Cubs haven't had any sort of inkling of something like that happening.
No, nothing of that juncture.
And this felt like it was going to be a really nice win if they finished it out. They were underdogs going in, pretty on the heavy side, and it would have set up the rest of the week. When's the last time the Cubs have won the opener of a series?
It's great. I'm going to do a lot of homework.
When's the last time? They haven't had a comfortable win since like early May.
Well, it's been a month. May 15th, a comfortable win.
It's a
lot. There's a lot worth discussing.
I'm just, yeah. And to me, it's not, it's just like a lot worse. Like, I don't know what else to say anymore, man.
Right.
It's the same thing over and over again. And we'll talk about Jed later on, but he used the word urgency today. He
A
said
couple times.
there's
Yeah.
urgency, and it doesn't. How is there no urgency? To me, urgency is in your play. They don't ever hit and run. They don't try and do anything to get things started. When you're up 1 in a baseball game, when you're up, that's the time where you could take risks. You have a lead. Okay, try and create something instead of just sitting and waiting for these mediocre hitters to try and go station to station. It's wild. And Neris, I mean, without Merriweather and without Owsley being bad and without Almonte, why doesn't Tyson Miller ever pitch?
He hasn't pitched in a while.
Last Tuesday.
It's been a full week.
Am I insane, or is he the only one that's shown decent life out of the pen since he's got?
He has. Yeah, no, he has.
It's
the same 3 dudes.
It's a disaster.
They have a few guys down there, Sam, that never pitch significant innings. How are you going to be a winning club when you have pitchers that don't pitch? Miller, Smiley, Hendricks. I mean, these are what value do these roster spots represent? They don't even throw.
I'm so emotionally drained from this team. Okay. They take up so much time in my life. We have a whole weekend, this weekend, built around them.
Right.
The whole weekend is built around these guys. Man.
Right now they're losers.
Yeah, and it's fatiguing. I don't know what to say. All I could say is that I've said it before, and I'll continue to say it because I'd like to be a stand-up guy. Man, did I mess up on you, David Ross? This is so beyond you. The decision making. This team is so
from the top down.
It's just, and Counsell had a nice night tonight. He brings in Bodie there for Bush. That was a good move. Gets the hit. He still likes to ride out Wisniewski. At least he got the results. And then you never felt like the second that PCA didn't come home in that inning when he got on that grounder from Tauchman, it just never felt like a win. Never. And it would have been a
great win.
And they are up 2 runs most of the game. So that just tells you. And it even felt like Boog and JD, who I think are really starting to sense that this thing's going down. Kind of reminds me of September. And they're really, it feels like it's exaggerated to talk as little about the game as possible. And it felt like in the 9th, they just knew it was coming.
Yeah, there was a lot of silence.
Yeah, they just knew it was coming.
Yeah, as you mentioned, this would have been a big win. They were heavy dogs. The metrics didn't like them entering this ball game. More of a coin flip, at least before the series started on Wednesday and Thursday's contest. So this one to sneak in there would have been huge. They're not able to do it. Cubs are now 32-35. On Wednesday, Sam, it's Javier Assad and Aaron Savale. And quite frankly, I don't know if I have it in me to preview this ball game.
No, that might be a break night.
They could even up the series.
It might be a break night for me.
I'd like to maybe invite you over for some ice cream cake as a pick-me-up.
Yeah, no, dairy free, please. I'd like to say that the Cubs, again, with runners in scoring position, I just want to make this point.
Well, they're one of the worst teams in baseball history with runners in scoring.
I just want to make this point with the with the RISP, if you will.
Sure.
And this is a league-wide issue. It's not just the Cubs, but it's starting to kind of get on my nerves a bit when the league is hitting the worst it's ever hit. And it just feels like we're defeating, it's just because of pitching. When the Cubs have runners in scoring position with 2nd and 3rd, 2 outs, and Christopher Morel swings for the fences every time, that's not good hitting. A rolling ground ball through the right side in that spot is the same consequence as a 2-run homer. And it just seems like everyone thinks they're just so much smarter than the rest of the league. Oh, well, that's bad luck. Maybe some of those soft contact. Did Tony Gwynn have bad luck his whole career, or Luis Rice?
Swing decisions
and try and hit the ball.
Situational hitting
where the fielders aren't. That's a skill. Hey, I'm going to try and hit the baseball. They're giving me the whole right side, so I'm going to try and hit it there, and I get it. It's a lot harder when they're throwing 100. This is a boring product that baseball is putting out offensively. It's not fun to watch. Nobody moves runners. Like even the Rays in the ninth. I mean, they won the game. Great for them. Congrats. They had a man on second, nobody out. Jose Siri comes out, just takes a called third instead of getting the guy over, bunting, whatever.
People are starting to blame the baseball too. It's like,
it's just
I guess
the Cubs nobody changes their approach. Nobody, and I just don't understand. Like with Morel, and I get it, he's probably not good at it, but maybe that's something to work on in the offseason. Hey, when there's nobody on or we're down a couple, swing for the fences. But you know what? When we're up a run, second and third, 2 outs, try and just hit a line drive, ground ball through the right side. Work on that because that's something that gets taught anymore. Are we just too smart for that? The analytics and the 237 major league batting average is too smart for that.
A surprising placement on the IL on Tuesday, and that was Ben Brown. Let's talk about it next. Welcome to the show, our new partners at Tax Network USA. Here on Locked On Cubs, we pride ourselves on getting you the latest news for your team, whether it's the offseason, the draft, spring training, or the playoffs. It's year-round. You know what else is year-round? Collection season. Just because tax season is over doesn't mean the IRS will stop coming after you for your unfiled taxes. The IRS can garnish your wages, levy your bank accounts, and even seize your property. Don't let the IRS target you. Let the licensed pros and tax experts at Tax Network USA go to bat for you. With over 14 years of experience and an A+ rating by the Better Business Bureau, Tax Network USA has saved their clients over $1 billion in tax debt. Whether you owe taxes, have complicated matters that require tax planning, or finally hit that parlay this season and need help correctly filing, call 1-800-549-1000 or visit tnusa.com/lockedon. That's tnusa.com/lockedon, and also see the link in this episode description.
This episode is also brought to you by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is America's #1 fantasy sports app. It's the easiest and most exciting way to get in on the action while you watch your favorite sports and players. Pick more or less on 2 or more player stats and watch the winnings roll in. Baseball season has been underway. The Cubs are a really bad baseball team, but you can bet against them and bet against all their players on Prize Picks, which I might do tomorrow. Don't miss your chance to add your favorite players from the diamond, or in this case, your least favorite players in your Prize Picks entries. Whether it's strikeouts, RBIs, or first inning runs, take your pick of more or less and add them to your Prize Picks entry. Prize Picks is really simple to play, with your entries taking less than 60 seconds to submit, turning $10 into $1,000 with just a few taps of your screen. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's a first deposit match of $100 by using code LOCKEDONMLB. Pick more. Pick less. It's that easy with Prize Picks, America's #1 fantasy sports app.
The Cubs play the Rays at 5:50 p.m. Central Wednesday, and you can hear every pitch of the Cubs' hometown broadcast on SiriusXM by searching Cubs on the SXM app. Ben Brown was placed on the 15-day IL on Tuesday with a neck injury. The Cubs are calling it a left neck strain. Excluding his debut at the Rangers, because I can do that, because I am the host of this program, the co-host, excluding his debut. Here is Brown's season line, Sam. 53 innings, 36 hits, 16 runs, 17 walks, 63 strikeouts, 2.68 ERA. There's no other way to slice it. Ben Brown is having an excellent rookie season, and given the Cubs' status of their rotation and bullpen, this is, quite frankly, a big loss. We talked about the value of a Hendricks or Smiley or Miller in the pen. Are these guys ever going to pitch meaningful innings? Well, Jordan Wicks was added to the bullpen last weekend, and now he's going to be re-added to the rotation, most likely, and replace Brown on Friday against the Cardinals. Sam, this is a big loss.
For sure. I think there might be something to do with innings limits here. Maybe like a sore neck, and hey, okay, this is a great time to give you a couple weeks and come back. But another loss. Hopefully Wicks replaces him and throws well. I'm just so crushed right now.
Yeah.
For those that don't know me, when you see this version of me, this is so much worse than the yelling, screaming version. This is the defeated version. This is the losing hope quickly version. This is the version that wants to come home on Wednesday night at 6:15 in the middle of the game and turn on a new series, Netflix or something. This is the version that when Suzuki hits a homer tomorrow, I say, hey, where was that yesterday? I become a really unpleasant person, and it's just so frustrating because it's you just almost feel like you care more than they do sometimes. It's just let's go out to eat in Tampa. Maybe we'll get some seafood. Hey, it's all right, Hector. Let's get him tomorrow. Dansby on his podcast. It's June. I'm not standing watching in June. Well, guess what, Dansby? With the way you're playing, you're not going to have to worry about any standings for the rest of the year if this keeps up. It's just.
So you have evidence to say that they are going. Well, no. I'm just saying there might be. Listen, quotes are evidence, and if there is sound bites from the players that indicate that they're not really concerned with schedule or calendar, I do think that's worrisome. I think that's fair.
Yeah, it just feels just so station to station. Business as usual. They have not scored 5 runs since they beat the White Sox. That's now 5 games on this trip. They're 1-4 on the trip. They have not scored 5 runs on the trip. Not once. And there's just no movement. Like it just if I'm in this deep of a funk, and now it's not a bad month anymore. We're in the middle of June.
Right.
Why don't they do more? Why don't they try more? Like we had an awesome hit and run on Saturday with Dansby and Bellinger that Happ couldn't get the job. That's another thing. The same guys come up, and today was Tauchman, and we praised Tauchman for those spots. They come on with a runner on third, less than 1 out, and they always find a way to fail. I would love to see the Cubs runners in scoring position numbers on this road trip. We'll get that for you tomorrow.
Well, we're going to get a lot for you tomorrow because, quite frankly, Sam, as I use that expression 2 times the show, this team is doing a lot of things incorrectly and doing of sorts, like you mentioned time and time again, putting runners in motion, trying to open up your playbook with a hit and run, with a bunt and run, with a bunt, something like that. They don't do it. And then to supplant that, to even exaggerate that frustration, they can't get a big hit.
Right.
So when they actually swing just on their own, they can't do it.
And they're built for that. That's the thing. Like Counsell just said, I was listening to what he said. He goes, we only had 2 extra base hits tonight. We got to get, well, if you're going to go station to station, you're not going to play small ball, then you have to hit for power. They don't hit for power. And if you're not going to hit for power, then you got to get clutch hits. They don't get clutch hits.
What did he say?
He said, he goes, 2 runs ain't going to cut it. We had a lot of hits today, but no extra base hits. We got.
Yeah, well, he has the same quotes every game. Have you noticed that?
Yeah,
he has the same quotes every game.
They're just standing and waiting for home runs and
it's
not
doubles.
A plan. They had 2 of them today.
That's just not a plan.
1 homer and 1 double. It was a solo home run. It's just. I just don't see. I really don't see any evidence here that they're going to get hot soon. And again, my mind works differently than a lot of Cub fans. I am such a forward, like I'm always thinking about 2 weeks from now and things like that with this. And I know I have so much experience with this. And I hope I'm not wrong, but in a way I do, because I just know we're going to start celebrating in the mid. They're going to, they're going to get white hot at Wrigley offensively, and we're going to be dancing at their 500.
Well, that is 9 games, though.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. And then we're going to look back, and we're going to get to August or September. We'll be like 4 out, maybe a game or 2 out of the wild card. We go, hey, remember when we went a month and a half without doing anything well? Like, you can't just take, like, I get it. People have bad months, but you can't just be this bad. They have not won a game comfortably in a month.
Yeah, I mean, this is 41 games now they've slid. 15-26.
But it's not even the record. It's the way they play. The 2
Well,
wins.
it's the way they're doing it. I get what you're saying.
2 wins against the Sox. They had to scrape with their teeth.
The worst team in the history of the
Sunday
game.
against the Reds, they get out ahead early. Maybe it's going to be a laugher. Nope.
They have to scrape for all their wins. I know.
Sweat through that. And then today, I literally, when we spoke on the phone, I was like, even if they win, this just isn't what I'm looking for, but I guess I'll take it because it's another day. And then Neris just gives it up. It's been so bad. And Jed keeps talking. And let me tell you something. You know what? Let's get to Jed at the next break.
All right, let's get to Jed Hoyer. I have one quote made in a graphic, and we can get to some of the other things he said as well on 670 The Score on Tuesday. Today's episode is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophies? Also, what keeps your car alive. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle, leveled up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered with over 122 million parts for your number one car. You always find exactly what you're looking for with eBay Guaranteed Fit. Your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need, the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your car alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers. Jed Hoyer did appear on 670 The Score, Mully and Haw, on Tuesday morning. He said a lot of things, or he didn't, depending on your perspective. And Sam, anything jump out to you here before I put up one graphic that I recognized?
Yeah, I thought he said a lot of worthwhile stuff. It's just
fantastic.
He used the word urgency a couple of times. He said there's not going to be any trades. They got to solve this internally. At least not any trades right now. And he also said they're not looking for anything really rental related. So I thought that was big. I thought he had a lot of newsworthy things. It's just when the team's playing this poorly, none of it's going to be good. And when you're Jed Hoyer, there's so much talk about Jed, and rightfully so. The team's not good. Where I go with Jed's simple, because I think there's a bigger issue with Jed, and it's his boss, and we're going to get to that at some point.
And that makes it complicated.
And that makes it complicated. But when I look at Jed, I look at a few things that just can't happen when you're building a roster. We always hear with Jed about the phrase, this is the Cubs phrase, right? Intelligent spending. Right? Cubs are paying $49 million this year to the following players. Jameson Taillon, who threw the ball well today, but I still don't think he's a very good pitcher. Drew Smyly, who's not good enough to be a starter. Kyle Hendricks, who's not good enough to be in the league at this moment. And Trey Mancini, who's not in the league. If you're going to preach intelligent spending,
oh man,
you can't whiff on those 4 guys. Those are 4 guys you should be able to churn out with your organization minor league wise. It's not that difficult, right? That seems kind of like the issue with this Cubs team. I'm going long here, but I think I'm
no, it's good.
I think I'm hitting where I want to hit. You don't have a superstar.
Unlike the Cubs, go ahead.
You don't have a superstar, right? You don't have a star. You don't have an all-star position player. You have one all-star to be him.
It's not even close, man.
Yeah. And so, you're built on this format of, all right, but we don't have any weak spots. And then you miss on a Smyly. You miss on a Taillon potentially. You miss on a Hendricks. You miss on a Mancini. You might have missed on a Neris. You missed on a Barnhart. You missed on a Hosmer. You might have missed on the shortstop. And when you start, when you combine when you combine not having many very high ceiling players, like Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, they cover up a lot of holes for your team. It's kind of like having a really bad defense, but when you have prime, Peyton Manning, Aaron Rodgers, they make it not as big of a deal. You don't have anybody to cover up those holes. So if you're going to operate like a small market team, if you're going to be really shrewd with the intelligent spending, then you got to get most of it right. And there's been just too many misses there with these guys. Bring it back, Drew Smiley for what was it, 19 over 2 or something like that.
Yeah.
The guy's a soft tossing lefty. Nobody loses sleep when he pitches. Tyone today, even though he had success, the Ben Browns, you need the Imanagas, guys that miss bats, and we're out there spending $15-20 million on these guys.
Well,
backwards.
That really does advance the problems of this franchise, because if the Cubs are a bad team, then they sure paid a lot of money to be bad. They're 9th in baseball in payroll. Yeah. That's pretty good. And if you paid that number for a bad team, that's a major problem. And I'll sneak this in 31 minutes in for those still with us. That could cost that man his position.
Oh, well, here's the thing, though. And now we're getting off topic, and I'm glad we are.
Fine.
I don't think Tom cares.
Really?
He only will care when people lose interest. If those marquee subscriptions start to get lost for the month of July, then he's going to care.
What about attendance?
Attendance is we know it's not going to happen. So it's just not. They're going to draw in the summer because it's a place to go drink and have a good time. Yeah, it's a destination. Yeah. That's all it is. Tom got one of these. It's a ring. It's a World Series ring.
That's your ring. That's your ring finger, right?
Yes, that is my ring finger. For those that don't know,
he got to cancel the episode.
No. It is my ring finger. He got one of these rings. He got one of these rings.
Yes, go ahead. He got one of those rings,
and that was it. And now he
I don't know why. I guess I'm laughing because I'm sad.
I'm just saying. He's told you before the year the Diamondbacks got to the World Series with this formula, so hopefully we can. He just wants to just put out a product that's competitive, and so far Jed's done that, and it'll continue to do that, and that's good enough for him.
Thank you so much for checking out this edition of.
Well, you didn't even put up the quote.
You give us. Well, I'm frustrated by the quote now.
Well, we could go long. We're one of the worst.
All the answers can't be external. We have to play better as a group. That's going to lead us to where we need to go.
Okay, let's get out of here.
Which is the seller, apparently. You give us 20 to 30 minutes. We'll give you all things Cubs with a laugh or two along the way. Be sure to hit subscribe on YouTube. I told you.
Let's get out of here.
Smash the like button for the algorithm and leave a 5-star review on Apple, Spotify, and everywhere you get your podcasts. I know my editorial judgment. And if you want more of us, consider supporting us by subscribing to our Unlocked podcast, where we talk zero Cubs. How about that? The link to subscribe to Unlocked is in this episode descriptions. The Cubs might be a bad team in 2024. He's Sam Olber. I'm Matt Cozy. This is Locked On Cubs.